welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've spent, more than 5 minutes on the internet researching how to retire early or how to reach financial independence, chances are you left feeling completely depressed. Am I right? It's so easy to just stumble into these corners of the web where financial gurus are claiming that unless you've amassed some absolute fortune, you're destined to just scrape by in retirement. It's a genuinely toxic mindset, and it leaves ordinary people feeling totally defeated before they even start. But today, we're going to completely dismantle that idea. We're looking at the exact math behind why you need far, far less than you think to live a beautiful, comfortable life. So let's dive right into this. $20 million. It's a staggering, honestly kind of absurd figure, yet it's constantly touted online as this bare minimum target. The internet is literally flooded with people claiming that if you don't hit this massive benchmark, your retirement is going to be nothing but penny pinching and stress. But here's what actually happens when we look at numbers like this. It completely paralyzes average earners. If you're making, say, $75,000 a year and you hear that you supposedly need $20 million just to be safe, your immediate thought is going to be, well, I'm never going to reach that, so why even bother trying? It creates this terrible illusion that freedom is just totally out of reach. And that right there brilliantly illustrates the core of the problem, this toxic subculture known as Fat FIRE. In the financial independence, retire early, or FIRE movement, Fat FIRE demands a completely extravagant lifestyle, where you cut absolutely no corners. But to actually get there, you have to save a massive, almost impossible amount of wealth. The internet's obsession with Fat FIRE basically creates this dangerous illusion that financial freedom is some exclusive, VIP-only club reserved strictly for Silicon Valley tech bros and Wall Street hedge fund managers. Let's stop for a second and be totally honest here. Have you ever gone online, plugged your hard-earned numbers into one of those free retirement calculators, seen an absolute bare minimum target of $5 million or more spit back at you, and just immediately wanted to throw your laptop out the window? Because I want to validate that frustration for you right now. The anxiety caused by these impossible, constantly moving goalposts is completely real. But as you'll see, it's also completely unnecessary. To break free from all that anxiety, we really need to adopt this brilliant mantra straight from the FIRE community. Don't compare your pineapples. I absolutely love this. What this essentially means is that you should never, ever compare your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. When you buy into this version of retirement that demands endless millions, it breeds an incredibly toxic comparison culture. You see someone online bragging about their massive Fat FIRE lifestyle and, well, it's kind of impossible not to feel like you're somehow losing a race you didn't even know you were running. And that comparison trap leads straight into probably the most dangerous psychological pitfall in the personal finance world: one more year syndrome. This happens when you actually hit a completely reasonable, mathematically sound financial independence number, but you're so terrified that it isn't enough. Or maybe you just want a slightly bigger boat because some guy online has a bigger boat. So you delay your freedom, you just keep working. You tell yourself, okay, just one more year. And this comparison trap is exactly what keeps everyday people chained to their cubicles for decades longer than necessary. So here's the brutal truth. Dying with $40 million in the bank, that is not winning the game. Actually, scratch that. It's a major failure. Think about it. It means you traded the absolute best, healthiest, most vibrant years of your entire life sitting at a desk, totally stressed out, just to accumulate digits on a screen that you never actually got to enjoy. You literally traded your limited time on Earth for a high score on a spreadsheet. Which brings us to a stark reality check. Did you know that the number one regret of the dying is absolutely not, I wish I had saved more money? No. The number one regret is actually, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. You cannot buy that time back. No amount of money is going to reverse the clock. So if we want to avoid that exact regret, we need to transition away from the anxiety right now and start fixing your actual math. To escape this trap, we have to radically redefine your finish line. Let's just look at the extremes on this spectrum for a moment. On one side, we have lean FIRE, which represents this extreme frugal minimalism, basically living on practically nothing. On the other extreme, we have the Fat FIRE we've been talking about, representing billionaire-level extravagance. Now, if both of those sound pretty unappealing or just plain impossible to you, you are definitely not alone. But the real secret here, you don't actually have to choose either of these extremes. So what's the alternative? Well, welcome to Chubby FIRE. This is the happy middle ground. Chubby FIRE generally targets a much more realistic portfolio, usually somewhere between $2.5 million and $5 million. Now, I know that is still a lot of money, But it allows for a highly comfortable, unrestricted lifestyle without that absurd, crushing, totally impossible pressure of trying to hit an 8-figure target. It really is the sweet spot of financial independence. Now, I want to provide some radical transparency here. Consider this real budget from an ex-big tech software engineer's family of 4 living in a high-cost suburb near New York City. They are absolutely not eating rice and beans. They spend $800 a month on high-quality food. They spend $300 on kids' extracurriculars. And they actively budget a massive $1,400 every single month strictly for fun, vacations, and, whatever they want to buy online. This is a very robust, very comfortable lifestyle in a very expensive part of the world. And yet, because this family has fully paid off their modest house and they completely own 2 reliable used cars, their incredibly robust spending just under $5,000 a month. That is it. Just think about that. A family of 4, living large, doing what they want, near New York City, spending exactly $60,000 a year. So let me stop you right here and ask you a very direct question. Let this really sink in. If a family of 4 can live an incredibly comfortable, high-quality life in one of the most expensive areas of the country for $60,000 a year, why on earth are you letting strangers on the internet convince you that you need $300,000 a year just to be happy? It's time to drastically challenge those assumptions and shift our mindset toward what is actually achievable. Let's look at the foundational math of financial independence to bridge the gap between that comfortable lifestyle cost and the portfolio you actually need to sustain it. This is the classic 4% rule. It states that you can safely withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio each year in retirement without running out of money. It is the golden rule that helps us translate our yearly spending into our final bottom line target number. And here is the punchy math reality based on that rule. To safely spend that $60,000 a year we just talked about, for a genuinely great life with vacations and high-quality food, you don't need $20 million, you don't even need $10 million. You only need an investment portfolio of exactly $1.5 million. That is your actual finish line for financial independence under those conditions. But hey, let's take it a step further. What if you don't live in a wildly expensive suburb of New York City? If you choose to live in a medium cost of living area, your monthly needs for that exact same comfortable lifestyle could easily drop down to around $3,300 a month. Now, think about how rapidly the goalposts drops there. If your lifestyle costs $3,300 a month, your requirement for total financial independence, meaning you literally never have to work another day in your life if you don't want to, requires a portfolio of less than $1 million. Less than $1 million. Compare that to the $20 million nightmare we started this explainer with. That is the absolute power of knowing your actual numbers. You have got to stop measuring your success by someone else's highlight reel. Because ultimately, true financial success requires only 3 things: freedom, purpose, and relationships. Grinding away at a corporate job you hate until you are 65 years old just so you can buy some luxury yacht is completely useless if you lose your health and your relationships in the process. The money is just a tool to support these 3 pillars of a good life. So the big takeaway here is beautifully simple. Run your own race. Your financial journey is entirely your own. Drop the toxic hustle culture. Lower your baseline expenses, own your foundation, and start intentionally designing a life that brings you joy today. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. If you're saving a little more and investing a little smarter, you are already winning. I want to conclude this explainer by leaving you with one incredibly powerful question. What is your enough? Once you realize that a truly rich life really doesn't require an 8-figure bank account, you strip all the fear out of the equation. You gain the power to define exactly what your finish line looks like, and you take your time back decades earlier. Figure out your enough, build toward it, and take back your life. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this concept today, and I really hope this helps you redefine your own path forward.